Welcome to the inspiring story of Daniel and his Hebrew brothers, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Before we proceed, please do well to subscribe for more videos. Let's start. Long ago, a powerful king named Nebuchadnezzar led the army of Babylon to conquer the city of Jerusalem. Many people were taken from their homes and brought to Babylon, a faraway land with different customs, language, and beliefs. This was how people were moved to Babylon. Young captives were brought in like this, to the king's palace. Among those taken were 4 young men from Judah: Daniel, later renamed Belteshazzar; Hananiah, later renamed Shadrach; Mishael, later renamed Meshach; and Azariah, later renamed Abednego. These young men were strong, smart, and full of promise. The king wanted to train them to serve in his royal court. Nebuchadnezzar spoke to his chief official, Ashpenaz, on what he wanted about the new captives, saying,
"Choose the best of these young men. Teach them our language. Give them food from my own table, and prepare them to serve in my palace."
It seemed like an honor, but the food and customs in Babylon didn't follow the laws God had given the people of Israel. Daniel and his friends were in their quarters when Ashpenaz brought the news to them. So Daniel replied to him, saying,
"Please, let us eat only vegetables and drink water for 10 days. Test us and see if we are as healthy as the others."
All right, but only for 10 days.
Daniel and friends ate simply, while others feast on the king's food. After 10 days, they looked stronger and healthier. God blessed them for their faithfulness. They grew stronger than the others and were given wisdom and understanding. Daniel was even given the special gift of understanding dreams. One night, the king dreamt. The king woke up in a panic and shouted,
"I had a dream that troubles me. Bring me the wise men. Tell me what I dreamed and what it means."
The wise men looked confused and scared. One of them pleaded,
"Your Majesty, please tell us the dream, and we will explain it."
"No! You must tell me the dream and the meaning, or you will all be put to death."
No one could do it. The king grew angry and ordered that all the wise men be killed, including Daniel and his friends. Daniel and his friends resorted to prayer. He said to his friends,
"Pray that God will show mercy and reveal the dream."
Later that night, Daniel received a vision in his sleep. God answered Daniel's prayer and revealed the king's dream and its meaning. Daniel was brought before the king, and he spoke to the king, saying,
"No wise man can explain your dream, but there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries. He has shown me your dream."
Daniel described the dream of a giant statue with a gold head, silver chest, bronze belly, iron legs, and clay feet. He said,
"This statue represents kingdoms that will rise and fall. But in the end, God will set up a kingdom that will never end."
The king was amazed and fell before Daniel, saying,
"Your God is truly the God of gods. Make Daniel ruler over Babylon's wise men."
Later, the king built a giant golden statue and ordered everyone to bow down to it or be thrown into a fiery furnace. There was a field where people went to bow to the statue, but Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stood tall. So, an official reported to the king, saying,
"Your Majesty, these men refuse to bow to your statue."
The 3 friends were brought before the furious king, and the king said,
"Bow down, or you will be thrown into the fire. What God can save you now?"
"We will not bow. Our God can save us, but even if he doesn't, we will still not serve your gods." The furnace was heated 7 times hotter. Guards threw the 3 into the flames, but when the king looked into the fire, he exclaimed in shock, saying,
"Wait, didn't we throw 3 men into the fire? I see 4, and one looks like a son of the gods."
Following the wonderful sight, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were brought out of the fire, and they were completely unharmed. Then confessed King Nebuchadnezzar, saying,
"Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. No other God can save like this."
At a time, the king's possession and power began to enter his head. Later, King Nebuchadnezzar had another dream, this time about a great tree that was cut down. Daniel was again summoned to interpret the dream, so he spoke to the king, saying,
"This dream is about you, O king. Your greatness will be taken away. You will live like a wild animal until you understand that God rules over all kingdoms."
It was a terrible one indeed. A year later, the king stood proudly on his palace roof, and his pride swelled in his head, and he said,
Look at Babylon! I built this great city with my power.
In that moment, a voice from heaven spoke, saying,
Nebuchadnezzar, your kingdom is taken from you.
Immediately, King Nebuchadnezzar turned into a wild beast and ran into the forest, eating grasses like an animal.
Oh, this is terrible.
Time passed, and after 7 years, King Nebuchadnezzar looked to heaven and worshipped God, saying,
I praise the Most High. His kingdom lasts forever.
His sanity returned, and he was restored to his throne, but this time with a new heart full of humility. He confessed, saying,
Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and exalt and glorify the King of heaven, because everything he does is right, and all his ways are just. And those who walk in pride, he is able to humble.
Don't choose to learn the hard way like Nebuchadnezzar. Be humble, respectful, and obedient to God. Surprisingly, in all these, Nebuchadnezzar's son, Belshazzar, who would later become the next king, did not learn from his father's mistake. Nebuchadnezzar lived the rest of his life in honor to God. Years later, his son, Belshazzar, ruled Babylon, but he did not honor God. One day he threw a party and ordered for the gold and silver cups in the temple of Jerusalem to be used. While they were drinking and praising idols, a mysterious hand appeared and wrote something on the wall. Suddenly, the music stopped. People gasped. The king turned pale and said,
Bring someone, anyone, who can tell me what this means.
Daniel was brought in. Then he said,
You have not humbled yourself. Even though you knew what happened to your father, you used sacred things for your own pleasure.
He read the writing on the wall, saying,
The words say, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin. Mene means that God has numbered the days of your reign and brought it to an end. Tekel means that you have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. Parsin means that your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians.
Then at Belshazzar's command, Daniel was clothed in purple. A gold chain was placed around his neck, and he was proclaimed the third highest ruler in the kingdom. That very night, Belshazzar was killed, and his kingdom was taken over by the Persians. Darius the Mede took over the kingdom at the age of 62. From Daniel and his friends, we learn what it means to stand firm in our faith, even when the world around us tells us to do otherwise. When faced with fear, pressure, or pride, they chose faithfulness, courage, and humility. God was with them in every trial, in the court, the fire, and even the lion's den. But that's a story for next time. Daniel and his friends remained faithful to God. Whatever you're facing today, remember, God is with those who trust in Him. Stand firm, trust God, shine bright. Thanks for watching. Watch out for the part 2 of Daniel's story. Please subscribe, like, and share.